Okay. So have you people read this part?
Yes, sir.
Did anything
Yes, sir.
make
Yes, sir.
any sense, or it was all above your head? Did it make sense, or what? Did you understand anything, or it was like
It made
Yes,
sense, sir.
sir.
make
It
sense,
makes
right?
sense, sir. I can understand.
Yeah, that's good. So just I'll explain the figure a little bit to you. When you see this over here, these are all just batteries, right? You see this is a battery, but this battery is not fixed off any particular voltage. Like it's not just a fixed voltage battery. When they have drawn a figure like this, it only means that it is the function of this is as a battery itself, but we have an option to change the potential. If I connect the wire at this place, let's say, now it becomes a battery with only one cell. Okay. So let's say if my one cell has a voltage of 1 volt, let's say one battery has 1 volt, one cell has 1 volt. So what will be the total potential difference across this circuit right now if I connect the wire at this place? This thing is not connected. Remember, this part is not connected. Hold on. So right now, these three cells, they are not connected.
Okay, sir.
So the total potential difference will be only 1 volt. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Now, if I connect it at this place, these two came into picture, then 1 plus 1 becomes 2 volt. Okay, that's the idea. So we have an option to change the potential difference. This is a battery with variable potential difference. Now, this is a resistance. We'll explain about this, what a resistance is, but the only thing is you should think of it as any appliance or anything through which the current is flowing. And if you want to find out what is the potential difference across here, you will have to connect a voltmeter like this. And this is your ammeter. So now we have a voltmeter in place, we have an ammeter in place, and I have an option to change the potential difference. So does this apparatus make sense to you now? We have an option to measure the potential difference. We have an option to measure the current, and we have the option to change the potential difference. It's very important to understand these three ideas. Okay, because the whole Ohm's law is based on this three idea. So what happens after that is, in this experiment, some people did an experiment. They made a setup like this, and they first made only, let's say, 1 volt pass through it. Okay, they made a 1 volt current pass through it, only 1 volt, and they measured the current. So I know that voltage is, what is the voltage? 1 volt. And then we found out some current. Let's say it is 2 amperes of current is flowing through it. Then they changed from 1 volt, they added one more volt to it. The potential difference became, what is the potential difference now? 2 volts.
2, sir.
And then they noticed that when they did, this also changed proportionally. The current became, if it is directly proportional, can anyone, do you remember the logic how directly proportional works? You studied this
Yes.
in your which class?
8, sir.
Eighth class.
8 standard.
So if, let's say, if I call this as X, and I'm telling you that potential and this work in directly proportional manner. So I'm doing reverse engineering right now. Those people did not do this directly proportional thing. They just did an experiment and they found out what was the current. Okay. But to write that, I do not know what current they found out. No, that's what I'm asking you to use the logic of direct proportion. So tell me, what will be what should I write over here instead of X if it is directly proportional?
4, sir.
Yeah, it will be 1 by 2 should be equal to 2 by X, or X by 2 should be equal to 2. So X will be equal to 4. So what they found that whatever comes is directly proportional over here. No, they found that exactly 4 amperes they did here. And when they did with 3, they found that it was 6.
6.
So with experiment, not with calculation, remember this very clearly. Through experiment, they found out that whenever they change the voltage, The current changed in a very specific manner, which was totally behaving like as if potential difference and current, they are directly proportional to each other. They found it experimentally. Okay, so that's the idea of Ohm's law. This is the experiment which they did, and they found that the potential difference and current, they are directly proportional to each other. Did that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the same idea which I told you just now, that will be mentioned in the book in a very fancy way, but still let's try to read that and understand, okay? So, in this activity, you will find that approximately same value of V by I is obtained. Now, what I told you and what this sentence is written over here, they mean the exactly same thing. Can anyone explain me why is it same thing? How by telling that V by I obtained in each case is same, how that tells that V and I are directly proportional to each other? Anybody remembers? If not, I'll just give you a quick recall. Let's say there were two quantities in directly proportional, X and Y. X and Y. What was the idea behind this? If this is 2 and let's say this is 5 and this is 3, this used to be, no, not 3. Let's say this is 4, this used to be 10. So how did you find out whether this table follows directly proportional or inverse proportional? How did do you remember how you used to find out?
Yes, sir. Like I remember, sir.
We used to find out X by Y ratio.
Yes, sir.
We used to write 2 by 5 and we used to also write 4 by 10.
When we simplify, we'll get it as 2 by 5, sir.
What's happening? 1 minute. Yeah, can you see this now? Two by 5 and 4 by 10, and when you simplify it, you will see that this is also 2 by 5. What does it mean? It means that X by Y is a constant, is equal to K. Actually, they used to write like this, is equal to K. X by Y is equal to K, if you remember. And that is what exactly they are telling here also for us in Ohm's law. But instead of X and Y, what do we have? In the table, we had V and I, the potential difference and the current. So how would we say that they are directly proportional? Only when V by I is a constant. That is what tells us that V and I are directly proportional to each other. Okay.
Yes, sir.
They found this experimentally. They did the experiment and they made a table like this, and they found all the ratios of this. Let's say call it as V1, I1 in the first experiment. Then they did one more change to the V1. They made it, next time they made it as V2, not just like 1 or 2 simple number, like it could be any number, V2. And the current was noted to be I2. Same way they kept on doing, let's say Vn, and they found the current to be In for that. And then they did a ratio of all of them, V1 by I1,
constant.
V2 by I2. They kept on doing, and they found that the values were almost constant. Every time they got the same value. But of course, it will not be exact same value. Do you understand why it will not be exactly same? And why am I saying almost same? Anybody knows? Why almost same? Why not exactly same? Because it is a physical experiment, right? We are doing a scientific experiment. And when we are doing an experiment using some apparatus, there will always be some amount of error in that calculation, or some kind of loss will be there, okay? That's why the value what we get as a constant will not be exactly 100% time, like exactly same. Not like every time you will get a 3 over there. Sometimes you'll get 2.9. sometimes 3.1, sometimes exactly 3.0. Do you understand how the experiment will work?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Actually, you will be doing this experiment if you get a chance to go to school. In your physics lab, you will be doing this experiment. Hopefully your school does this, because in our school we used to do this experiment. We used to change the value of v and note down the I value and see whether that is same or not. Like we used to draw this table and find out. Okay. Now, with all that apart, now we have established everybody understand that v by I is constant. What it means is v is directly proportional to current. Potential difference is directly proportional to current. What it means, when V increases, current also increases.
Increases.
When V increases, current increases. When V decreases, current also decreases. So this is what graphically they have done a potential difference versus, okay, actually I have already drawn this graph over here. Yeah, this is your VI graph. V versus current graph, I. Let's call it as this, okay? So if you note down, when the potential difference is 0, that time the current will also be 0, right? No potential difference, no current. Everybody understands that?
Yes, sir.
That is why it will start from the origin, 0, 0. And then as we change the potential difference, let's say this is 1 volt, the current will be some amount. I don't want to call it exactly 2, but let's see, for example, let's call it as 2 volt. But when we change this to 2, this becomes 4. If it is 3, this becomes 6. This is just an example. It will not be exactly same numbers. Everybody understands that, no? Don't do an experiment and tell that, sir, when I did 1 volt, it did not come 2 amperes. Okay. So with this graph, are you able to understand that it is a straight line, and as the potential difference increases, as the potential difference goes up, you are seeing that the current is also increasing. Everybody is able to understand this graph? VI graph?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's look at this graph in your book now. So actually you will have to do this drawing also. Like when you draw the table, experiment, when you do this in the physics lab, you will be drawing the table which I showed you over here. Okay, this table, hold on. You will draw a table like this, V and I. So first value will be V1, I1, V2, I2, and V and IN. All those points will be there. Then you will go to your graph and you will put those points like these crosses over there. And then you will try to join them. And you will notice that it will very much look like a straight line. It will not be exact straight line. Just now I explained you why it will not be straight line, because there will be some experimental loss. Whenever we do some physical experiment, there is always some error associated with it. That's why we'll not get a perfect straight line over there, but it will almost look like a straight line. Okay. So now this part, what we see over here, that would make sense to you. We'll just finish the class in 5 minutes. Okay. I'll not teach you much today other than this VI. Just we'll finish this topic and then we can finish the class. Okay. Yeah. This resistance will start in the next class. This is also a very important topic after this. So let's quickly finish this VI part. Okay, so now this notation, what you see here, this should make sense to everybody now. Is there anyone who does not understand what this notation is?
And I understood, sir.
Yeah, it says V is directly proportional to I. That is what the symbol means, directly proportional. And what does directly proportional means? We have already understood that V by I will be a constant.
Constant.
Yeah, but what is that constant? I already told you, every time we always got the same value, right? When I did V1 by I1, still I got a same value. Let's call that value as R. When I did V2 by R2, still I got R. So this R seems to be an important value, right? Because every time, whenever we do this,
Sir, V2 by I2, no, sir.
You are right. V2 by R2, I2, sorry, not R2. V by I is R, V by I, potential and current. This is a drawing between potential and currents. Will always be V and I. Sorry. Yeah. So this is R. So, and when we did V3 by I3, same way, still we got R. So every time we are getting R. So don't you think this R is going to be an important number?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is R is an important number. That's why they have given this constant as a symbol R. And this R is nothing but the resistance, which we have been talking from the beginning of this class today, that we'll be learning about resistance. Okay, now do you understand what is resistance? At least the, like, some idea you have got, right? What is a resistance? It's the constant value which we get when we divide potential difference by the current. It's the constant of proportionality in the Ohm's law. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good, fine. So that's why they have written V by I is equal to R, or we can V by I is equal to R. This is your potential difference by current is equal to resistance formula, which in general terms will be written as V is equal to I R. So whenever somebody asks you to explain the Ohm's law, you'll explain the experiment also. You'll say that there was an experiment done. If we change the potential difference, the current also changes.
And it is also proportional.
It is directly proportional to the potential difference is directly proportional to the current. And the constant of proportionality, whenever we remove the proportional, we make it equal to, I told you that we have to add a constant, right? We have to put a constant over there. So that constant of proportionality in this particular case of experiment, when we are doing with potential difference and current, this constant is called a resistance R. Okay, hold on, guys. Okay, fine. So
Sir, it's like proverbs, sir.
which one?
This V by 1 is equal to R. Like to achieve V V by I goal, there will be obstacles before achieving it. That is resistance.
Yes, good observation. That is right. Okay, but this is V by I, not 1. Okay, remember that I current. The symbol for current is normally written as I, not as C. Why not as C? Because people will think that this is the unit of charge. That's why they don't call it as C for the current.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's why they call I for current. I don't know why. Don't ask me why they call it I. But if someone can Google and find out, tell me next class. Okay, so let's read through this. The R is a constant for a given metallic wire. Does that make sense to anybody? Why they are telling that it's constant for a given metallic wire at a given temperature, and it's called the resistance. See why they are telling about a specific metal wire, because when they were doing the experiment, they found that if they take a copper wire, okay, if they take a copper wire and then they do the experiment, this V by I, they'll get a certain value. Let's say I'm calling it as R1. But if I take some other wire, aluminum wire, and if I do the experiment, I'll get V by I. There also it will be constant for this particular wire. Let's say this is aluminum. So if I do 10 experiments by changing the voltage again, V1, V2, V3, you understand what I'm saying, right? I'm changing the voltage for aluminum this time. Earlier I was doing for copper. Let's say this experiment was for copper. I did V1, I1, V2, I2, Vn, In. So I got a particular constant value. And that constant, instead of calling it as R, I'm calling it as R1. Because this R1 is constant for the particular wire alone.
Then it will vary with the wires, no, sir.
Yes. So for every wire, there is a particular resistance value associated with it. So if I take copper, it will have a particular R value. If I take aluminum, this will have a different R value. Did you understand now? Even though R is constant, but if you change the wire, it will take a different constant value. For a particular wire, aluminum, if you do the experiment in China or if you do in India or America, doesn't matter, everyone will get the same value with the aluminum wire.
Sir, it's like walking in the snow and walking in normal marble floor, sir.
Sorry?
It's like walking in the sand and walking in a smooth surface.
I did not understand the analogy. Okay.
Friction, sir. Like if I see through that medium.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
like
The particular medium, of course, yes. The how much resistance is created, that resistance will depend on the material, right? Of course, yes. That's a good example. Actually, I did not see it through. So when you are walking on sand, you might feel different level of difficulty. When you are walking on snow, you will feel a different level of difficulty. Okay. Yeah, but for that particular medium of the conductor or aluminum or copper or any other wire for that matter, for that particular material, it will be constant. Fine. And they have added one more thing called temperature also. That is also has to be constant. Anybody knows why?
because in a windy weather we cannot walk properly, sir. Like in a storm.
Okay.
And
Yeah. So temperature creates some kind of changes in the wire. Let's say this is a copper wire. I have the temperature of some certain temperature, normal room temperature. Then if I do the experiment, I'll get a particular resistance value for the copper. But if I make it very, very hot, 100 degrees Celsius, then if I try to pass the current, then I'll get a different resistance value. Is it confusing? Because initially I told that R is a very important number and it will always be constant. Then I told you that R changes for different materials. Correct? So R became R1, R2, R1 for copper, one for aluminum, one for other wire. And now am I also
Even varies when the temperature is also different, sir.
sorry?
Like even it changes like when the temperature is different, sir.
Yes, exactly. It does. Because you can take the same analogy what Srishti told. So let's say when you are walking on the sand and it is the evening time, the sand is very cool, very nice. That time if you are trying to walk on that sand, the resistance you will feel that time. And when it is like afternoon, 2 o'clock, when it is very, very hot, do you think you will feel the same kind of resistance?
no, sir, it's pain.
So
It will be different slightly, but you will not be able to notice it that much. But actually in snow, you can figure like depending on the temperature, if the snow has hardened or it is very, very soft, that time the resistance can be different, right? How much friction you feel between your feet. Yeah. So yeah, but that is okay. That thing is just an analogy. What I want you to understand with the particular case of copper, let's say we take, if I change the temperature, what is this resistance? Resistance is to the flow of current, right? And what is current? Some charge is trying to flow through it, no? Some charge is
yes,
trying to
sir.
flow through it. So what happens when the temperature is different? There is a different amount of resistance. And why that is different, you don't need to understand that. But if you are interested, I'll explain this to you also in the next class, okay? So for now, what you can do, your job, you can try to do some research on your own, study the book or find through internet. What happens when the temperature increases? Does the resistance increase or decrease? What happens? So you try to think on your own, first of all, try to use your own logic and try to think what will happen when my charge is trying to move. Will it move faster when the temperature in that wire is very high, or will it move faster when the temperature is very, very low? When will it move fast, the current, the charge?
Sir,
Did you?
when it is hot,
Yeah, so this thing, I will not answer this right now. I want you people to do some research on this and talk to me about this in the next class. Can we do that? Everyone will try to find this on your own.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so my question, what I'm saying is, when the temperature is very high, will the resistance be high or the resistance will be low at a higher temperature? Did you understand my question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So far we have studied 3 formulas, all very, very important formulas. What are the 3 formulas we have studied so far?
I is equal to C by Q by T, sir. I is equal to Q by T.
Yes, I is equal to Q by T.
V is equal to W by Q.
V is equal to W by Q. And today, just now we studied V is equal to I
R.
R. You notice that same V has this formula also. Same V has this formula. This V and this V are same. But you will use particular formula based on the question what is given. Have they given me a charge and work done, or they have given me resistance and current? Based on the question, we will decide which formula to use.
sir, V by Q and I by R is also same, no, sir.
Yes, it will be for a particular case. For a particular setup, when you have a V voltage in a battery, some I current is flowing, okay? And the resistance through that is R. Then for that particular case, yes, W work done by the charge will be same as I equal to R. But normally you will not see this kind of usage, because the reason is when we are talking about a circuit and what is the resistance over here, what is the current in the circuit, and what is the potential difference across this. So in this kind of a circuit, we don't talk about how much charge is moving, okay? Though it can be calculated, but nobody asks you to do that kind of calculation. Or what is the work done, W, to find when in this circuit. That will be a very rare scenario, but if that happens, you should know that you can use this formula to find out the charge also, if you know the work done. Or if you know the charge, you can find out the work done using these two. You can combine these two formulas and find out anything. They are same V, potential difference.
Sir, on Thursday, how you will conduct the test, sir?
I will conduct the test by giving you the question paper.
No, sir, like you will send it in WhatsApp and you should write it and send, or you will be like live, you will be for the telecast, you will be showing it and you should write it and show it to you, sir.
I'll share the question with you. I have trust on you people.
But time, no, sir, like
Time also you have to maintain, okay? I'll give you the question paper and you have to open only when you have an alarm or something set up with you. You take fixed amount of time, depending whether it will be 1 hour or 1.5 hour maximum, not more than that.
Sir.
Yeah, so you will have to do those kind of things, because of course it's not possible for me to monitor whether who's writing for exact time, no? So those things you will have to do, or maybe you can ask your parents to monitor if you don't trust yourself.
Okay, sir.
Okay, fine.
Okay, sir.
So remind me about this test tomorrow also, otherwise I'll forget maybe.
Which one, sir?
That we have test on Thursday, right?
Yes, sir.
So in tomorrow's class also, you remind me that you have a test on Thursday. So if I have not prepared that question today, I'll at least tomorrow prepare, okay?
Sir, it's just linear equations we have to prepare, no, sir.
Yes, the pair of linear equations in 2 variables. The full chapter. Okay, fine. Yeah, so before we end the class, just one more thing I want to tell you. You see Ohm over here. This is Ohm's law. And this omega, has anybody seen this letter omega before?
Yes, sir.
Like we
Yes, sir.
alpha, beta, gamma, delta, phi, theta, all those things, no, all these are Greek letters. In that Greek letters, omega is another one, what you see here. This is a symbol for resistance, the unit of resistance, basically, ohms. Okay, resistance is measured in ohms. 1 ohm, 2 ohm, 5 ohm, 10 ohm resistors, okay, ohms. Make sense? Right, guys?
Yes, sir.
So what will be the formula for R? R will be V by I, right? Because V is equal to IR. So we can move around and we can find the value of R also using the same formula which we saw above. R is equal to V by I. So how do you define 1 ohms then? When 1 volt of potential difference creates 1 ampere of current, then the resistance will be 1
1
ohm.
ohm.
1 ohm. Okay, so you should remember this definition. And there is a still lot to talk about resistance, so don't think this is the end of it. Today we have only studied Ohm's law, so we'll talk about more in about resistance in the next class. Okay, so but as of now, you go through all the 3 formulas which we have come across, and make sure that you remember it totally by heart. You should not forget these formulas. Okay, and
Okay, sir.
when I say V is equal to IR, this same formula can be written in 3 different ways, right? Can anyone tell me
Yes.
how can I write this formula in another way?
Like
R
I
is
is equal to V by R, sir.
Yes, and R is equal to
V by I,
by
sir.
I. So this all the 3 forms you should remember. Remember it by heart. I is equal to V by R is equal to V by I, and V is equal to IR. So either you remember all 3 of them, or you should be very fast to do this calculation when I ask you. You should remember one formula, and if I ask you what is the formula of I, you can tell me, quickly calculate this. I will be equal to V by R. But you should know all these 3 possible formulas, which comes from the same Ohm's law. Fine, let's end this class now. We'll meet you guys tomorrow, okay?
Okay, sir.
Anybody has any questions before I close?
No, sir.
Okay, good. See you all tomorrow then.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you,
Bye.
sir. Bye, sir.
Bye, good night, guys.